Hi, my name is Andrea Lyons, and I'm the CEO of All About Presentation, which is an event company here in Richmond, Virginia. I'm joined by some fabulous people that are on our team, and I'm really excited, and I hope you get to know them because I love them tremendously. But the reason why we're actually going to record a video today is because as part of our summer internship experience here at All About Presentation, we get to work with some of the best interns that we can absolutely find all over the country. And so with us today, we have some interns, and part of the internship experience is they get to sit down with me and another member of the team here and ask us whatever they'd like. So they can ask life questions, they can ask, I don't know, relationship questions, they can ask what happens after you die. It doesn't really matter. And the point is, it's not like we have necessarily the answers to those questions, but it makes for good conversation. So we thought that it would be fun to record it and share with people some of the things that come out of these talks. So it is Wine Wednesday here. Not everybody has wine. Some of us have apple juice, and so they're going to ask me questions, and then we're going to set a timer, 5 minutes, and then after that we move on to the next thing, and that's what we do here. So we thought we'd record it and share it with you. If you like it, share it with others. If it can be helpful for them, we encourage you to share it and pass it on.
What is your number one interview tip?
Okay, number one of all time, right? Okay, don't be late. If I have to go in order, I mean, there's several I could give.
You'd
right?
like a top three. How about that?
Top three. Okay, top three. Don't be late. Can that be just a given, right? Because that's, but I feel like that's important because some people, like, they cut themselves off before they even get started. And that's one thing that'll do it is, I don't have to ask you a question at all if you're late to your interview. I know everything I need to know if you're late to your interview. I mean, it's different if you say, hey, I got in an accident on the way here, but were you speeding or whatever, because you were late, or, But I think there's, of course, extenuating circumstances, but if you're late, and that's just it. I know everything I need to know. Because this is supposed to be the most important or the most professional that you can be in an interview. So you don't want to stifle yourself before you really get started. So I think that would be number one. I think one of the things we get a lot of is people who say things that
People say things that they think you want to hear.
Yeah.
Versus the
Oh,
honest answer.
yeah. Right. I don't want to blame career centers around America and colleges and so forth. And I totally understand. You need to be prepped for an interview. I think you can still be authentic in your answers. A great question is like, are you a big picture thinker or detail oriented? It's okay to be either one, right? As long as you say why this is, and is it applicable to the job? I think, and how is it applicable to the job, and where does it serve its best purpose? I know a lot of times for event planners, a lot of times people will interview, with me or with Kate, and they'll say they're detail oriented, right? Well, that means nothing to me because I'm not. I'm not the most detail oriented. I feel like I'm pretty organized. But if we did a little tour to my desk right now, I don't know what it looks like. I haven't been there in a while, so I don't know that that's necessarily the best guess for what a person is looking for. So I think you could still be like a big picture thinker and still be an event planner. So I think, you're right, like people lose their authenticity in their interviews, and I think that's the unfortunate part, because you don't want to say they're lying, right? But kind of, it feels like that, because once you hire them, that's not what that's not what you bought, right? Like, that's not what you got. You're like, this is not what you told me you were. And I think a lot of times, even when people show you who they are, sometimes it's not even bad necessarily, it's just not what I expected. So if you had just told me what to expect, that would, because maybe I like you enough as a person and I feel like you have enough potential that at least I know what to expect from you. So I definitely would think that'd be number two, is to be authentic in any of your interactions. Now that's not to say, hey look, I don't like details because I'm lazy. You wouldn't say that, that's terrible. But I do think you can be authentic and be able to say, this is why, I mean, I'm this way, I was born this way. And because I mean, we have to do that with our clients. I mean, our interviews don't end with our clients. They ask us questions, right? Sometimes before they sign the dotted line with us, you know, they ask us questions like, you know, tell us about some events that where X, Y, Z happened, or it happened poorly, or what have you. And I think it would be, you know, disingenuous to just say, you know, to lie and say, oh, that's never happened, because it probably has happened. I mean, you know, we've had instances where venues have canceled on us, which was awful. We've had instances where they have backed out of their contract, which was terrible. We've had instances where, you know, the weather played a huge factor. We had snowstorms and blizzards and all of that. And so, you know, you take those experiences, you learn, you grow, and we have to tell our clients, hey, listen, this time though, it'll be a little different because we're a little bit more prepared for some of the things that can happen in the real world. Showing is always better than telling. So if you have something like a portfolio, and I know a lot, you know, we've talked about it before in our other meetings that we've had, but you know, sometimes people will say, I'm creative, and you go, great, show me, and they got nothing. And you're like, well, no, that's disappointing, right? And so I think sometimes people think portfolios are sort of relegated to just, you know, architects or fashion design majors or what have you, and that is not necessarily the case, or art majors. I think everybody can have something that they can show that says, look, with their employer's permission or whoever they did the work for, they can say, look, this is what I did here, even if it's spreadsheets, right? Like, I feel like you can like show a good PowerPoint presentation. If nothing else, the person across from you doesn't know what you're talking about, but they know that you can at least put together a PowerPoint presentation, so that's something, right? Or some sort of presentation, right? So I think if you have any proof that you can show is always very helpful, right? So, and when people say, I know people don't ask for, you know, necessarily references anymore. They will check your references, but it's usually after. You know, I've had people come to me with references ahead of time. Like, their reference letters are part of their portfolio. So when you open up their portfolio, it's like, you know, logo of the whoever's, you know, doing the reference, and then, you know, whatever nice is said about them. So it's really nice to just kind of see that up front. Like, by the way, I have other people who would endorse me, just in case you wanted to know. So those are things you can put in a portfolio that may or may not be pictures or artwork, and especially if you say, well, I don't do anything like that. I think there's something you can do that can at least show what is happening, you know, and it shows your point of I'm creative, or, you know, I'm smart, or whatever your adjectives you use to describe yourself. I would think of, you know, what is something I can show in addition to just saying who I am or how I would describe myself. Good question. Great question.